Chapter 1, Introduction to Chemistry. Let me make this chapter easy. In this chapter, number 1, we need to know the meaning of chemistry and where the term chemistry comes from. Number 2, we need to know a few common chemicals in our daily life and its uses. Number 3, we need to know chemistry-related careers and its job. Number 4, we need to know example of chemical-based industries and its manufacture or its product. Number 5, we need to know the contribution of chemical-based industries to our country. And the last one, steps in the scientific method. So, what is the meaning of chemistry? Chemistry is acknowledged as a branch of the science. So, we can define chemistry is the branch of science that study of the composition, structure, properties, and interaction of matter. So, why we need to learn chemistry? And the answer is everything around us made up of chemicals or involve chemicals such as paper, drinking water, food additive, and others. So below here we can see a few examples of chemicals in our life. So I suggest you memorize at least 5 examples of chemicals in our life and its uses. And the example is vinegar. Is dilute ethanoic acid or acetic acid widely used in preserving food. So vinegar is the commercial name. Dilute ethanoic acid or acetic acid is the scientific name. Lime. What is the use of lime? Lime used in the preparation of cement or mortar. Lime is commercial name. Scientific name is calcium oxide. CaO is the chemical formula for lime. And what is the use of silicon? Silicon chip used in wide range of electronic devices such as computer, television, and mobile phone. This is the chemical formula for calcium carbonate, and this is sodium chloride. The commercial name we call table salts. You can pause this video, take a few time, maybe you want to take note. Okay, next, chemistry related careers. So we have a few examples of chemistry related careers such as chemist, chemical engineer, pathologist, forensic scientist, food technologist, pharmacist, nutritionist, and doctor. The question is, when people ask who's chemist, who's chemical engineer, who's pathologist? So the answer is simple. Chemist is the person who discover new concept and laws about matter and the universe, or apply chemistry to a range of industrial and social needs. Who is pathologist? Is the person who determine the cause of death by an autopsy. What is the job of doctor? Studies chemical processes that occur in human body and help patients to treat disease. Who food technologist? Is the person who use chemistry to develop new ways of processing and preserving food. Below here is about chemical-based industries, especially in our country. Chemical-based industries in Malaysia. Example, textile industry, pulp and paper industry, steel industry, palm oil industry, and so many others. About chemical-based industries, you need to know the manufacture or the product for a few example of these industries. For the example, palm oil industries. Palm oil industry, what is the manufacture? Which manufacture or produce margarine, cooking oil, and soap? What is the manufacture of paint industries? Paint industries manufacture of paints, varnish, inks, and dye. And what is the manufacture of rubber? Rubber industries manufacture of latex gloves, latex straits, and tires. What is the product of inorganic chemical industries? Chlorine, caustic soda, and hydrogen. What is the product of petrochemical industries? Plastics. What is the product of healthcare? Product of healthcare, food supplements. So from many example here, I suggest you try to memorize 2 to 5 example of chemical-based industries and correct its with its manufacturer or its product. Okay? About the contribution of chemical-based industries in Malaysia, we have 3 contribution of chemical-based industries in Malaysia. Number 1, the chemical produce used to support other industries, and number 2, provide job to our people. Number 3, increase income to our country. And maybe the last one you can say to improve health of people. Scientific method. What is the definition of scientific method? It can define is a systematic method used by who? Used by scientists for what? To solve problems in science. So this step is used to carry out an experiment and to understand phenomena of nature. Below here we have 11 steps. While you make a revision, you can try to arrange this step using number from 1 to 11 and try to match the correct statement with the correct steps. Okay, here step number 1 is making observation. Step number 2 is making inference. Make early conclusion based on what has been. And step number 3, identifying problem. And next, step number 4, making hypothesis. Making hypothesis, make a general statement to relate the manipulated variables with the responding variables to explain the observation. Step number 5, identifying variable. Identifying variable. We have 3 variables: manipulated variables, responding variable, and constant variable. Manipulated variables purposely change in experiment. Responding variable changes with the manipulated variables. And step number 6 is controlling variable. Controlling variable, repeat the experiment several times by using suitable values of the manipulated variables. And 7, planning and experiment. Planning and experiment include the present, the aim of the experiment and how it is carried out, list materials and apparatus used and their specifications, and state any precautions taken to overcome problems in the experiment. Number 8, collecting data. Collecting data, present the data in a suitable forms using table, graph, or other form. Number 9, interpreting data. Number 10, making conclusion. Making conclusion, state the conclusion based on the observations and results, and state the hypothesis is then accepted or rejected. And number 11, writing a report. Writing a report, write a complete report with the results of the experiment. Okay, now you can try to match the explanation of the steps in scientific investigation with its correct statement here. Thank you for watching.